Ladies and gentlemen, there's a peculiar trap that most people fall into without ever realizing it. It is the illusion that they know, that they've read enough, learned enough, seen enough, that they've figured life out. And so they stop. They stop asking questions. They stop exploring. They stop expanding. But what if I told you that the moment you believe you've arrived is the very moment you've lost your way? That the greatest mistake you can make is to assume that learning is something you did in school rather than something that should be as constant as your own heartbeat. You see, the world is changing every moment. It is not the same place it was yesterday, and neither are you. Every breath you take, every interaction, every challenge, every piece of art, every moment of silence, these are all teachers. The question is, are you listening? If you do not educate yourself every day, you are not standing still. You are moving backward, because the world moves forward, with or without you. And so I invite you to join me in a journey, not towards some final answer, but into the endless unfolding of knowledge, experience, and wisdom. Let us question everything. Let us break free from the cages of certainty. Let us embrace the unknown with open arms and an open mind. Because education is not preparation for life, it is life itself. The infinite game of learning is not about reaching a final destination where one can claim to have mastered all knowledge. Instead, it is an ongoing journey, an unfolding process that never truly concludes. The moment one believes they have learned enough is the moment they begin to stagnate. Life itself is a dynamic, ever-evolving experience, and to remain intellectually alive, one must continuously engage with new ideas, perspectives, and experiences. The world is not a static entity, and neither is the human mind. Every day brings a new opportunity to expand beyond yesterday's limitations, to dissolve old assumptions, and to reconstruct a deeper understanding of existence. Many people approach learning with the mindset of completion. They believe education is something to be finished, as if it were a checklist or a degree to be attained. But true learning does not work this way. It is not a linear path with an endpoint. It is an infinite landscape with no borders. The most enlightened minds throughout history did not seek knowledge to reach a final state of knowing, but rather because they recognized the vastness of what they did not know. It is in this humility, this openness to uncertainty, that true wisdom arises. Every moment, every conversation, every book, every mistake, and every experience presents an opportunity to learn. There is no singular source of wisdom, no single teacher, philosophy, or ideology that holds all the answers. The world itself is the greatest classroom, and life, in all its unpredictability, is the greatest teacher. To educate oneself every day is to participate in the grand unfolding of reality, to continuously refine perception, and to embrace the mystery of existence with a mind that is always willing to learn. The illusion of knowing is perhaps the greatest barrier to true wisdom. People often cling to their knowledge as if it were a solid foundation, something fixed and absolute. But in doing so, they fail to recognize that knowledge itself is fluid. What we understand today may be incomplete or even entirely false tomorrow. The danger lies not in being uninformed, but in believing that one is already informed enough. This illusion creates a false sense of security, leading individuals to stop questioning, stop exploring, and ultimately stop growing. When a person assumes they know, they close themselves off to the vastness of what remains unknown. The mind becomes rigid, confined within the boundaries of its own certainties. But certainty is an illusion. History is filled with ideas once accepted as undeniable truths that were later proven wrong. Entire civilizations have crumbled because they refused to adapt, believing their understanding of the world was final. The moment one believes they have reached the peak of knowledge, they have unknowingly created a ceiling that limits their potential. To break free from this illusion, one must cultivate a mindset of perpetual curiosity. Rather than seeking definite answers, it is more valuable to seek better questions. The most profound discoveries arise not from knowing, but from wondering. True intelligence is not the accumulation of facts, but the ability to remain open, to challenge one's own beliefs, and to embrace the possibility that what is known today may evolve tomorrow. Every conversation, every perspective, every experience holds the potential to reshape understanding. The willingness to admit, "I do not know," is not a weakness. It is the first step toward genuine learning. Curiosity is the lifeblood of learning, the quiet force that keeps the mind alive and ever expanding. Without it, the world becomes dull, repetitive, and predictable. With it, every moment holds the potential for discovery. A curious mind does not simply accept things as they are. It questions, explores, and seeks deeper understanding. It looks beyond the surface, beyond the familiar, and dares to wonder. It is this childlike sense of curiosity that fuels the greatest minds, the greatest artists, the greatest thinkers, those who refuse to be satisfied with easy answers and instead dive into the depths of the unknown. Yet as people grow older, this natural curiosity often fades. They become comfortable in their routines, confident in what they already know, and hesitant to challenge their beliefs. The world, once a playground of endless possibilities, shrinks into a predictable script. But the truth is, the universe has not become any less mysterious, only the willingness to explore it has diminished. The key to lifelong learning is to resist this complacency, to cultivate a mind that remains forever young in its desire to understand. Everything holds something to be learned, from the mundane to the extraordinary. A simple conversation can reveal a new perspective. A book can open a door to an entirely different way of thinking. Even failure, often seen as an endpoint, is simply another lesson in disguise. The mind thrives on new experiences, and curiosity is the key that unlocks them. It is not about seeking knowledge for the sake of having it, but for the thrill of the pursuit itself. The more one learns, the more one realizes how much remains unknown. And in that realization, the journey of learning begins again. Unlearning is just as important as learning, for the mind is often weighed down not by ignorance, but by the illusion of certainty. From an early age, people are taught what to think, how to behave, and which ideas to accept as truth. Over time, these beliefs solidify into rigid structures, shaping the way they see the world. But what if some of these foundations are flawed? What if the greatest obstacle to deeper understanding is not the lack of knowledge, but the unwillingness to let go of outdated or limiting beliefs? To truly educate oneself every day, one must first learn the art of unlearning. This means questioning assumptions, reevaluating long-held convictions, and making peace with the discomfort of uncertainty. It requires intellectual humility, the ability to admit that what once seemed true may no longer hold up under new perspectives. The world is not static, and neither is wisdom. What was considered revolutionary yesterday may be obsolete tomorrow. The greatest thinkers in history were not those who clung stubbornly to old ideas, but those who were willing to let go, adapt, and embrace new ways of seeing. Unlearning does not mean rejecting all knowledge, but rather making space for deeper, more refined understanding. It is the process of peeling away layers of bias, conditioning, and unquestioned beliefs to uncover something closer to truth. This applies to all areas of life: relationships, culture, philosophy, even personal identity. The more one is willing to unlearn, the more open they become to new insights. True intelligence is not about accumulating facts, but about maintaining the flexibility to shift perspectives when necessary. The mind that is willing to unlearn is the mind that remains truly alive, forever evolving, forever growing. There is a difference between knowing something intellectually and understanding it through direct experience. Many people mistake information for wisdom, assuming that reading about an idea is the same as grasping its truth. But real learning does not happen in books alone. It happens in the raw, unfiltered encounters with life itself. A person may study love, but until they have felt heartbreak or deep connection, their knowledge remains incomplete. They may read about courage, but until they have stood in the face of fear, their understanding is only theoretical. Direct experience is the bridge between knowledge and true wisdom. Society places great value on accumulated knowledge, yet it often overlooks the importance of first-hand learning. People memorize facts, repeat theories, and collect degrees, but none of this guarantees understanding. A traveler who explores a foreign land for a single day may learn more than a scholar who studies it for years without ever setting foot there. A musician may spend a lifetime perfecting their craft, but the true essence of music is not found in technique alone. It is felt in the experience of playing, in the energy of creation itself. Knowledge alone can be deceptive, making one feel informed while leaving them disconnected from the reality of what they think they know. To educate oneself every day is to engage fully with life, to step beyond the role of an observer and become a participant. It means learning from failure, from relationships, from silence, from struggle. It means embracing challenges not as obstacles, but as teachers. Real learning happens in action, in immersion, in the willingness to be present. The mind may store information, but it is only through direct experience that one truly comes to understand. Change is often feared, resisted, and seen as an unwelcome force disrupting stability. Yet, in reality, change is the most consistent and reliable teacher one will ever have. Every moment, life is shifting. Nothing remains the same. Not the body, not the mind, not the world around us. To educate oneself every day is to recognize that learning does not come solely from books or structured lessons, but from the constant evolution of existence itself. Every transformation, every loss, every unexpected twist in life holds within it a lesson waiting to be understood. Most people cling to familiarity because it provides a sense of security. They seek routines, patterns, and predictability, believing that stability is synonymous with control. But true growth does not happen in comfort. It happens in the unknown, in the moments where certainty dissolves, forcing one to adapt, to rethink, to evolve. Resistance to change is resistance to learning, for change is the process through which deeper understanding is revealed. A river does not fight the current, it flows with it, embracing every twist and turn as part of its journey. The mind must do the same, letting go of rigid expectations and instead remaining open to whatever lessons each moment brings. Every experience, no matter how insignificant it may seem, is a part of life's ongoing education. A difficult conversation, a sudden failure, a chance encounter. Each of these events is an opportunity to expand, to refine one's perspective, to deepen wisdom. Growth is not something to be scheduled or planned. It is happening constantly, whether one chooses to embrace it or not. The difference lies in awareness, in the ability to see change not as something to be feared, but as a teacher that is always present, always guiding, always inviting one to learn. Education is not a task to be completed, but a lifelong unfolding, an ever-deepening engagement with the world and oneself. To educate oneself every day is to step beyond the illusion of knowing, to nurture an insatiable curiosity, to unlearn outdated beliefs, to seek understanding through direct experience, and to welcome change as the most profound teacher. The mind that remains open, questioning, and adaptive is the mind that truly lives. The choice is always present to remain within the comfort of what is already known or to step into the vast, boundless journey of continuous learning. Life does not wait, and neither should we. Every moment offers a lesson, every experience a revelation. The more we embrace this process, the more we realize that wisdom is not about having all the answers. It is about staying endlessly willing to learn.